Welcome to the Eat, Sleep, Chelsea Repeat podcast. It is either episode 175 or 176. I think we didn't update it last time. I think it is episode 176, entitled Toothless Chelsea versus Ruthless City. I'm Craig, and I'm joined by just Brady today, no Chris, to talk about our 3-0 defeat to Man City. Brady, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Another well-earned point in the 45-minute league where we're competing for a top 2.5 place. So, yeah, well done, lads. Another good half.
Yeah, it was a really disappointing game. Chelsea really didn't show up, especially second half. The first half, I think you can argue, we competed okay and maybe it's a bit more even, but especially the first 20 minutes of the second half, City really destroyed us, to be honest. It was very comfortable for them. 1.14 XG for Chelsea to 2.29 XG for Man City. Doesn't really tell the massive story. And if you looked at just the stats and 12 shots versus 18, you might think this game was like relatively close, but in reality, as the game played out, Chelsea really capitulated at the start of the second half and didn't really have any chance of winning the game. Lots to talk about in terms of individual performances, but we'll start with likes and dislikes. Have you got anything on the positive side first, as a like?
No, nothing positive. I usually try and drum up a positive in this game, but there was very little. I talk about some players that are showing a little bit of form that have been poor before, but we just go to dislike. Have you got a like?
I've got a like in that we're finding out a lot about Rossini. I think we found in a lot of these.
You mean
he's
getting closer to the death knell? Is that what you're saying?
I think
you sound happy about that.
It's not happy. I'm definitely not happy.
I don't think they're gonna sack him. I think it would have to be little general Rossini chat at the start. I think it would be just quickly. I think they would have to lose most games, or really just kind of tell run for him to be sacked. I think even if we win 2, draw 2, lose 2, I think he'll keep his job. Very likely, obviously, we say that Leeds are a good team. Very likely to make the FA Cup final as well. So, yeah, we are learning a lot about Rossini, but I think he'll be in place in August. That's my prediction.
Sure. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think we've been badly exposed in some of these games, and I think the fan base.
You don't agree that he's going to be there, or you don't agree that he should be there?
Both. Yeah, I guess. I don't think. I think when people start talking about, I heard Rossini talk about in his presser. He talked about Klopp, I think, and Guardiola, and managers that have given time, and this always happens when managers are under pressure. I know Chris was referencing this when he really liked Potter as well. You've got to give managers time and blah blah blah. There's no body of work to get behind with Liam Rossini. Pep Guardiola, when he's come across from winning the league title with Bayern and managing Barcelona, you can get behind the manager when he doesn't win the league in his first season and say give him time. And the same with Jurgen Klopp. You're building something with Liverpool. You're coming from a Champions League team that's been really really successful in Dortmund, that's beaten Bayern to the title under Jurgen Klopp. Which is obviously an impressive feat. Liam Rossini has got a year and a half at Strasbourg under his belt, and some poor management jobs before that. He had to come in and hit the ground running. That is the way to be successful for him. There's no.
Not sure I agree with that.
There's no body of work to fall back on with him where you're like,
there wasn't really with Maresca though, was there? There wasn't really with Maresca though, was there? But
Maresca was successful. That's the difference. Well, Maresca, I think
winning the league of Leicester. I mean, I'm not comparing, but it's
no. Sorry, Maresca was successful with Chelsea. Maresca was successful.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but I'm talking about Maresca came in.
Yeah. So like the results is
well, no, I'm talking about Maresca actually came into the job.
If he'd have finished 8th last season, Maresca, he'd have been in the same situation with me and under. And obviously, the performances are the other thing. Fair enough. Look, we can lose at home to Man City. I can deal with that. When you get played off the park in the second half like yesterday, that's when the alarm bells start ringing for me. So yeah, I don't agree with Rossini that he's definitely going to stay or anything this summer. And if he does, I don't think that would be a popular decision. But let's see how the last 6 games fall out. Obviously, that'll be the most important part. But anyway, this was supposed to be a positive thing. But my like is that we're finding out a lot. And I think finding out things about people fast is important, because you can make good decisions about moving on and getting massively exposed in games.
Probably the worst like we've had all season for it. It's not really,
it's
not really a like, is it? It's just like you're waiting for the man to get sacked, basically. It's not really much of a like.
I think just finding out info is good anyway. But yeah, right. Let's talk dislikes.
Chelsea are in this awful cycle. It's happened quite a lot where players who shouldn't be on the ball in attack get on the ball, and then. So what I mean is Neto seems to get a lot of the ball. Like, Esteval got basically none of the ball yesterday, right? I mean, barely anything.
I think that was by design with City tactically as well, by the way. They wanted Neto.
Yeah, I'm sure, but it's... I'm not the biggest fan of Neto, especially left wing. And it's just... Palmer wasn't on the ball enough. João Pedro wasn't on the ball enough. Cucurella was hogging a lot of our XG. There was just a vicious cycle of yesterday, our best players not really getting on the ball. When they did, they were poor. And so you were just... Catch-22, you were done, and it was checkmate. It was checkmate after 20 minutes almost. I mean, even though we survived, there was just nothing really, maybe half an hour, but there was just nothing really going on. And I mean, Palmer says he's back, but there's just no intensity in snapping our play. And it was just... I don't think that this is narrative...
So the out of possession stuff in the first half I thought was fine.
Yeah.
I thought we sort of defended okay against City. The in possession stuff, and this was the big issue coming in with Rossinha. This is, a lot of the big tactics accounts talks about this. CFC Central does a great job breaking down tactical stuff, and he talks about Rossinha when he came in, that Strasbourg didn't create much XG in games, especially big games. And that's not the way to play. It might be the way to play as Strasbourg against PSG, but it's not the way to play against as Chelsea against a lot of teams. And we've seen it play out really. We don't have tons of attacking XG in games, or definitely not a ton of shots in games, and especially in big games against City. I mean, really against PSG, City, Arsenal, we've played them 3 times. We're not creating tons of chances. More alarm bells.
We are clear top of the XG league, but maybe a lot of that under Maresca, but I don't know. I mean, it was just I don't know. It was a bit of a weird match where there's this big narrative that City really stepped it up. I'm not sure they did. Like Shirky just put a ball in and we didn't track him, and then you just let Shirky was running the shot. I don't think City changed that much.
Half, Chelsea didn't change anything at half time, and they sort of just trotted everyone out, and City definitely pushed O'Reilly into the box more, and that
but I mean,
and obviously led to the.
It's quite a slight tactical tweak. I don't know. I think where Rossinha does have a point where he's hitting post-match presser, where when we concede a goal, and this has been on this team even under Maresca, to be honest. I mean, even going back to Tuchel, Chelsea struggle when they go a goal down. We're very good leaders. I mean, that's obviously, like, in terms of football, it's quite common. But when we go 1-0 up, we're loving it. But when we go 1-0 down, it's just we just seem to panic and just fold. And the goals are of London buses at the moment. They're coming in twos, and when you can see 2 in a game and in quick succession, obviously the game's pretty much over most of the time.
So that was your dislike. My dislike is when the teams came out yesterday, and obviously I was at the game. You see the lineups. You see, I always think like you can really gauge a little bit about mentality, but also the other thing that really struck you when the teams came out is physicality. They came out with Donnarumma, Nunes, O'Reilly, Gueye, Rodri, Haaland, Semenyo. They're all monsters. Their size of them when they come out the tunnel, and you're looking at Chelsea and it's like Esteval, Neto, Palmer, Santos, Caicedo, Hato at centre back, Cucurella, Gusto. These guys are tiny. I was thinking yesterday that we were going to concede from a corner, 100%, because the matchups with us versus them, and they could even field a more physical team than this. And this is something that now we've moved away more from just recruiting young stars. I think we'll focus a lot more of recruitment on trying to actually fix issues in the squad this summer. physicality is the number one thing that we need to add in the summer. We have to get a more physical team. And look, that will come, obviously. Gusto and Hato will be replaced, in our best team by James and Colwell. Those two are huge upgrades physically on those two players, clearly. But also just someone next to Caicedo with a physical presence, someone like a Tchouameni or an Onana, someone like that to sit. Not just because they're on a comparable level to Lavia and Santos in terms of being DMs, but just to add a level of physicality. Because look, we're going to play Esteval. He's going to play. We're going to play Cole Palmer. He's going to play. We're going to play Cucurella next season. He's going to play. Caicedo's not massively physical. A lot of our best players going into next season are not physical monsters. So one thing that we do have to 100% focus on is adding physicality to the team. I think that would be an urgent priority, I would say.
Yeah, Liam Tooney commented on that in his post-match analysis after the game and he asked Rosenior about it. That he directly asked Rosenior about adding in the summer, adding physicality, and
really?
Rosenior
That's interesting. I think it's really obvious when you're at the game sometimes, and obviously the press sit there with the lineups when they're lining up, and I think it was noticeable for sure. In the game. All right, let's talk about the players. Let's do some temps. So, lots of eligible freezers. My freezer was actually the same as yours. So let's talk about this player. I'm
not going to go on too much. I love Caicedo, but this was probably. I'm sure there's some of his early games that weren't great, but this was one of his poorest games in a Chelsea shirt. I do wonder whether the 9 yellows, because if he gets another yellow, he gets 2-game ban, right?
I did see that,
And I don't know whether
what about the captaincy yesterday?
He's a captain, but 4 defensive contributions. We'll get onto it. Obviously, he made a huge mistake for the third goal, but 4 defensive contributions. that is unheard of. Yeah. That is. He usually gets 15, 20. So there's no bite in his game. His pass accuracy was 81, way lower than he usually is. He had
a really poor game, Caicedo.
And then obviously his fault for the goal. Really easy pop off to right back or whatever you want to do, or pop it back to Sanchez. Not Sanchez's fault at all. Pretty standard. Yeah, and so just really poor. I'm not going to go
so a few players deeper than that. Have got better under Rosenior. One of them that's got significantly worse is Caicedo, and whatever role he's been put in, under Rosenior, I think going into speaking about September, October, November, especially October, November, you could probably hang your hat on Caicedo. Actually, even going into December, looking at these performances as well, you probably hang your hat on Caicedo being one of our best players basically every game. Since that Charlton game, where he was really good, and we've had a couple of good performances since then.
He has had some real...
This stretch of run here since March, well, we can even talk about from Burnley onwards, Villa, Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle, PSG, Everton. He's been shocking, really. It's really disappointing.
I think shocking is overboard, to be honest. Well, in the last 4, but the whole team's been absolutely garbage, right?
Yeah, but I think you rely on your stars to sort of get you through some of these moments, right? Especially in big games. I do think he's. I just actually looked if Ecuador in the World Cup, and they are, which good for them, but bad for us. I do think he is one where the Club World Cup tax is definitely having an effect. I think. For sure.
Yeah. His diminishing returns as the season's gone on. He's physically not where he was at. I do think being on 9 yellows as well, I think it will affect him. But I'm not making excuses for him. But the thing is, for a really, really, really top player, when they have a few bad games, I will make excuses for them because he's a fantastic player and he's going to be, as long as he wants to stay, which hopefully he does, he'll be the bedrock of our midfield for a long, long time. So I'm not going to get on Caicedo too much, but it's his worst game of the season. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I want to talk about another player.
Yeah, we've got time.
Pedro Neto. I think it's time.
It's every game. So he actually was okay in this game. This was actually, what was really interesting. Actually, just not sorry to butt in. when you watch TV, Rossini was barking instructions at him all the time, like defensive instructions, and he was like waiting and like I did feel for him a bit because he was barking at him like he was a defender, like he's clearly because of his physicality been given a role down the left to just look after Semenyo, look after Nunes, etc. Maybe look after Shirky when he maybe track Shirky a little bit when he drifts on that side. I don't think Neto's great, and his end product's just gone down the toilet basically since I don't know late autumn essentially. But I do feel that he is treated like a bit like a wing back on that left side, and he is just so much worse on the left. And now Esteval's, when you start Esteval, he would have been a lot better in this game if you start right wing Neto, but obviously Esteval's there, so I do feel for him a bit, but I don't. He's been got way too minutes over the winter. Like Garnacho, people don't like Garnacho, but the thing with Garnacho is that when he's on the pitch, he's actually our out ball a lot, and he actually can gather 30-foot net. Now, what he does at the end of his own product isn't great either, but people just don't like him because he doesn't track back, etc. But Neto, the thing with Neto is he's been played very bad form, and it just sends a bad message. He just isn't playing very well, and he just keeps getting 90 minutes, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's been almost 1,200 minutes now in the Premier League since his last goal.
Yeah.
Playing on the wing for us. I mean, like you said, I think if Garnacho had been playing like 1,200 minutes worth of minutes at wing and hadn't scored, people would be like, you'd hear it every week about them. I just don't get it. Like Neto's 26, he's not that good. Like I just don't. We when he first moved, he had some work rate about him as well and some intensity.
He still does have that. To be fair,
it's okay. I wouldn't say it was outstanding anymore. And then you're looking at the output, and yeah, like you said, like the last goal he scored in the Prem was the Leeds away in December. We lost that game.
The famous consolation goal.
I mean, it's just I just don't get.
I remember that. I was at a gig watching Wolf Alice, great gig at the O2.
For me,
that was ages ago.
For me as well, Esteval and Garnacho are a good pairing in terms of balance. Esteval loves the ball to feet, and Garnacho loves to get in behind. Yeah, I just don't. For me, I just don't. There's no point in playing him anymore. Like he doesn't deserve to be played.
I won't go that far, but he needs his minutes chopped up. He might be another one where look. I don't think that was that good, to be honest. But there are you have to. I'm saying Caicedo. I can't say to Caicedo. Maybe physically there's something wrong there as well. Like he has stayed fit for a long time. Maybe maybe there's some fatigue, some mental fatigue. But no, I've been getting on Neto the whole time. Neto's decent. I'm happy for Neto and Esteval to compete at right wing. I think that's pretty strong at right wing, personally. I mean, Neto is good at right wing when he's on his game. There's no doubt about that. Like he's much better right wing. Much. And I was literally repeating myself over and over every week, but he is so poor left wing. Like playing him at left wing is essentially a waste of time going forward. Like as in terms of output, his body shape is all wrong. He receives the ball and immediately goes back. He never really goes on the outside. And when he does, actually, he's pretty good. He got a really good assist PSG and against Burnley as well. When he does it, he's pretty good, but he just very rarely does it. I don't know whether it's a tactical thing or his body shape's wrong or because he is fast. But yeah, I don't know. And with Esteval being, what Esteval is, being, primed up as the next big thing in the Chelsea team, he'll get more minutes than he got last year. So Gittins won't be injured forever, and Coenda's coming in, and blah 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 blah. So I don't know. I don't think there's a market to sell him though. So I don't think they'll sell him. To be honest.
Yeah, I think.
Who's going to buy him? Who's going to buy Pedro Neto? Like, well, we're going to want like 7. Yeah, but does Saudi even buy players anymore? I don't have really anything about Saudi anymore, do you? But...
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just for me. I've defended Neto for a long time up until.
No one in Europe is going to pay 70 million, 60 million pounds Pedro Neto.
I thought Neto could really kick on this season. He started the season really well, and we've just had like 5 months now of just complete mediocrity. And yeah,
no, I agree. I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk warming up. We've got the same warming up as well. So
yeah, I mean, very quickly. I mean, it's almost like a special mention or like a half warming up. I think Hato has improved. I think you're starting to see a player that we bought. He's only 20 years old, but
I don't think he's a centre back.
No, but
and he's playing there at the moment.
I think Cucurella might leave in the next couple of years. I think that's pretty clear with his comments on the international break. He's regressed a little bit this season as well, though. He was really good, actually. Against in terms of going forward, he was getting back into that thing he used to do under Maresca. So he was also decent as well in this game. Obviously, he hogged a lot of our XG, which you don't really want. But yeah, he was good. And obviously, yeah, if he's like holds his run a little bit more, and we go 1-0 up. I don't think we would have won this game, but I think it would have been a more competitive game.
I thought that could never be offside watching in real time, but I guess it was a close offside. I haven't seen a replay.
It was pretty close. He went way too early. He didn't need to go too early. So, but yeah, it was obviously a good finish, and he could have. I mean, he really good ball from that.
Away before that. It would have been an amazing assist.
Yeah. But just going back to Hatter, I just think you're starting to see the player. He's got a bit of bite in his game. He's technically very good. He's from the eye out of school, which means he will technically be very good. I just think he's steadily been improving. I think he's one of the players that has improved under Rossignol, maybe with Santos, or Santos has been playing, but obviously João Pedro has improved. But even Gusto has improved a little bit, I think, under Rossignol. Not much, but a little bit. Yeah. But I thought Hatter was decent. He hasn't got a regular football rating, but I thought he was okay. And I actually think him and Fofana ironically dealt with Haaland pretty well. But it was the supporting cast that done us for City, really.
Yeah, lots of issues with City. Lots of people to stop. I think they've, of all the things that they've got right or wrong this season, I think like having Cucurella and Hato as your left back combo, I think is ideal. But one's an established veteran that's going to play sort of all the games that are important, or most of the important games. He's 27. He can play a lot of the games, and then you've got Hato to come in and take up the backup minutes, and he's still going to play 2,000 minutes in the season as a 19, 20-year-old, and he can sort of groom himself to take over the next when he becomes 21, 22, 23 and Cucurella leaves. I think that sort of combo, that's ideal. That's what you're looking for in sort of all top squads. I guess that is the idea behind like Gusto and James as well, but obviously Gusto's a little bit older and not as good as Hato, or not as promising as Hato. Gusto's actually he had another really poor game in possession. The other player I wanted to talk about that I thought had a really, really good game was Wesley Fofana. Not quite good enough to have a boiling hot, but yeah, when you saw Fofana and Hato up against Haaland, you were concerned in this game. But Fofana really stepped up in this game. His passing was really good under pressure. Only 2 giveaways, 95% pass accuracy, but also 3 of 3 ground duels won, 2 of 2 aerials. He also made a bunch of blocks, 2 interceptions, 1 block, 3 tackles, 10 clearances. He was really, really good in this game. I think I messaged after the game saying, it was a waste of a Fofana sort of redemption game, because he's been poor recently, Fofana, but I thought he was really good.
Yeah, I thought Wes was good in this game. I actually was going to say that, like I said before, actually, that Wes and Jarrell at the back, they did pretty well, to be honest, which is unusual to say in a 3-0 loss, but I actually did think they played well, and it's one of Fofana's better games recently. But Fofana's been poor, though. I mean, in the games like this, he does seem to step up in the bigger games, but yeah, I don't know about Wes. He's not someone I thought you could hang your hat on. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, we're looking at Van Heck, and Van Heck will play right centre back if I'm not correct, right? I'm not mistaken, right? Would he?
Yeah.
Van Heck, yeah. So obviously they're looking at Senesi.
Yeah.
Senesi plays left centre back, right? He's left-footed, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Wes is sometimes a very good player, but there's injury concerns and there's the attitude concerns, and his form's also just been poor recently. So wouldn't be even that upset if we sold Wes, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. He's good, but this performance is almost frustrating because we've seen none of that for weeks and months now, really. But yeah, he was good in this game.
Yeah. That's it about the players. I don't think there's much else to really talk about.
No.
Let's talk about the overall league table then, and then we'll go around the grounds. It's not pretty reading for Chelsea. Obviously, 4 losses in the last 5 games. We've lost 3 in a row without scoring a goal.
First time since '98 that happened, when Hoodie got sacked.
I mean, that's just... Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It's embarrassing, obviously. 48 points in 6th now. 52 for Liverpool. 55 for Villa. 55 for Manchester United, who play in 15 minutes here on Monday Night Football, and obviously Arsenal and City. That'll be interesting. It's probably the biggest game we've had in the Premier League for a long time. I can't think of a bigger game than this in terms of game week going into game week.
No, it's a huge game.
32 with first versus second, where it's a 6-point gap.
Yeah.
This is can't wait to watch that game next week. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Obviously, we've got United at home. Coming.
Do you want to get the fixtures up?
Night. Yeah, let's talk about the fixtures, I guess, just quickly. But yeah, United at home coming up, Brighton away. Those are the two games right now.
So we're on 48 points. We're on 48 points. I think in the absolute bare minimum, you have to get 60 points. I think bare minimum to make top five.
We have to win these two games.
Yeah. Well, I think we have to win 5 games, to be honest, to have a hope. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know which one.
Beat Forest at home and Spurs at home, and you think we would, if we needed to win at the last day of the season, we'd beat Sunderland.
Well, you're skipping the biggest one. The biggest game of the season left is Liverpool away. Because if we were game,
if we
okay, so
these 3,
but it's
or 2 wins and a draw. If we
it all connects, right? Obviously, if we lose the next 2, the season's over, like from a league standpoint, obviously, and then you go into the FA semi-final, and that would be the full focus. So I think we have to get 15 points. To be honest, I think 63 you might make it, but to win 5 out of 6 is looking unlikely. I don't want to predict each game because it's tough to predict. If you get a good performance versus United and we win, and then you're more hopeful about Brighton, but it's a very tight turnaround. I think it's Saturday night, then Tuesday night for Brighton, and going down to the Amex. They're really improving at the moment. Brighton.
We were down there last year. It was a miserable watch.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the cup game, absolutely terrible. Really tight turnaround.
Lovely hospitality though, bro.
I think there's a large possibility this season that the FA, but within 2 weeks it'll just be the FA Cup and that'll be that. Though I do want to. It's a bit of a rumor going around. I checked in ChatGTP earlier. If Villa, you're good at the things like this. If Villa finish in the top 5, but also win the Europa League, does the sixth gets to the Champions League?
No. I don't think so.
Well, Chris has said that you do in the WhatsApp group.
Just now?
Just now. They did it on Sky.
Oh, really?
There we go. Look in the WhatsApp group quick. Just a bit of live thing. Just quickly.
You can read it out, can you?
Well, okay. Basically, they just did it on Sky. The pre-match Monday Night Live, or whatever it's called. There's an incentive that basically the possibility of 6 Premier League teams qualifying for the Champions League, and Chris just did it on Sky. So it looks like we need to get our Villa shirt, get Dan from the pod on, get your mate Dan, but on the pod, he's not on the pod. But we've been lambasting Villa all season, and they're about 300 points over EV in the league. But up the Villa, if that's a thing, that's actually a season saver because we ain't got to look at the league games, mate. If you look at the Europa League, if you go to the Europa League odds quickly, see outright odds. That's what we should look at.
Right, yeah.
Because this is actually more important than our fixtures, to be honest. Because we can get
the Europa League they're in, right? Not the conference.
Yeah, the Europa League. Because we can get 6. So if this is the thing, it's huge. So they are favourites, I believe. I work for a sportsbook. Yeah, they're favourites. So when you look at that selection of teams, they should do it, really. Emery
Forest.
Also in the Europa League. Emery in the Europa League, he's won it 4 times as a manager.
Yeah.
So,
you got to fancy them with this lineup of teams.
Well, obviously. It might save us. And I'm telling you, if that's true, they need to be playing that.
This might be a fun bet to just get on. I've actually got a Villa shirt because I used to go to Villa with my mate when we were we were in our 16, 17, 18 around college time. I'm
telling you right now, we should do a live stream.
Dust it off.
We haven't done a live stream before, but I think our first live stream would be if Chelsea come 6th and Villa need to win the final. I think live streaming it.
Live stream the final.
Because I will be a Villa fan that long.
Yeah.
Well, we've never done watch along before that, but that would be a good one. Get down on a watch along maybe.
That'd be good.
But yeah, it sounds like it's a thing. So yeah, did you go on X? Did you quite quickly go on X and then put Sky Sports? It's there.
Okay, yeah. We'll I'm sure people can check that out if they want. But yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go around the grounds and talk about the games from the Premier League this weekend.
All right.
Go down to results. Are we ready?
Yeah.
West Ham United 4, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
There's a survival bid bubbling in East London. I'm from East London, or I live there anyway, so I want West Ham to stay up. I know you don't like West Ham, but I want them to stay up. So
yeah, I don't like the other team that could go down either. So that's tough.
Yeah, surely.
Arsenal 1, AFC Bournemouth 2. This was an enjoyable.
I mean, honestly, we were saying the champions elect, and I am happy that I've been slowly proved right. Arsenal have been really, really mediocre for ages. If you take out the set pieces and the defending, which is, by the way, are elite. Like, their defense is elite. And it's getting a bit worse at that at the moment, but their defense is unbelievable, and their set piece and physicality is unbelievable. But when you've got a top 5, top 6 attack, it'll come to hurt you, and that's what's happening. So they've got a big problem, Arsenal, big problem.
Brentford 2, Everton 2. This was the most obvious draw you could ever see.
Kieran Dewsbury Hall keeps Brentford off our back. What a guy! I love him. Brilliant. Always Chelsea. Lovely.
Top Chelsea.
Blue Army.
Chelsea
Blue Army.
Burnley 0, Brighton 2.
Yeah, Brighton might finish ahead of us. They're finishing quite strong.
They're good side, Brighton.
Where did I say they're finishing the league? 9th. And where are they? They're 9th, right?
Yeah, they're 9th.
Classic. Yeah, they're doing okay. But
Liverpool 2, Fulham 0.
This was annoyingly routine. I thought that Fulham would give them a test, but
I thought Fulham might show up and play quite well in this game. And
it was just annoyingly routine. I checked the score at half time. I was like, oh, right. So that was it. Even Salah scored.
It's Crystal Palace 2, Newcastle United 1. A 94-minute penalty winner.
Newcastle are actually having a worse season. I mean, we're having a shocker of a season, really. But they're having a worse season. They're awful, Newcastle. I think Howe might be getting a chop.
I haven't heard any rumours for that. Forest 1, Villa 1.
Could be a massive point for Forest. Morgan Rogers, sorry, he missed a sitter second half. But it could be with the Spurs result we're about to talk about. Could be really big. I mean, obviously, yeah, they're picking up results, and they even got a result at Porto midweek away. So they're looking all right for us. They're improving.
Sunderland 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
I mean, when you're conceding goals, did you see the goal they conceded?
Yeah, I mean, it's very unlikely.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. When you're conceding goals like that, we're both poker players. Sometimes when your luck's out, right? It's just it's just that season, and I think they're in trouble, man. I mean, obviously they're in trouble, but I don't know.
They're even money to be relegated. I mean, of course they're in trouble.
But I mean,
when you look at Spurs' fixtures, I just don't see where the points are coming from. They got Brighton at home next. They've got to win that, because after that they've got Wolves away, Villa away, and then they've got Leeds at home that they can definitely win. But then they've got Chelsea away and Everton at home. I just look at those games and I just don't think... I think they can maybe get, if they play really well, they can get 7 points out of those games. Is that going to be enough, 37 points? I don't think so.
So have a look at West Ham fixtures.
I think West Ham can get 6 points out of these games.
Palace are on the beach. Yeah. Palace are on the beach.
And they finished their season, Leeds at home. And
by the way, Newcastle will be fully beached by that game as well. By the way, nothing to play for.
And they're at home to Arsenal.
I mean, look, obviously,
all these games are winnable for West Ham.
There'll be dogs to beat Arsenal, obviously, but Arsenal by then will be under massive pressure, probably in the title race. I mean, even that they could get something.
I can't. I think Spurs are down. I think they've left it too late. They should have. That Tudor appointment will go down in history as one of the worst appointments ever.
Yeah.
I remember. So I was on holiday with them. My brother-in-law, who's a massive Spurs fan, at the time when they appointed him. I said, we're talking about managers, obviously, on the holiday, who they're going to appoint. Appointed Igor Tudor. Who? just a complete, I just couldn't believe the appointment. It's just a crazy. It's just not what you need to do, in that situation. So, yeah. Right. So, that's enough of shitting on Spurs. But that was.
Well, there's never enough. There's never enough of that. Let's be honest.
And obviously, we've got an opportunity. Obviously, there's still that opportunity. Spurs at home to relegate Spurs. You never know. That could be one of our best seasons yet. Yeah, and obviously tonight is the Man United Leeds game, which is important for us. I think if United lose tonight, they'll be under some pressure coming into our game.
Big if, but
yeah, obviously will be tough.
I mean, if you look at the odds, they're like 97% to get top 5, so they're going to make it.
Yeah. Right, let's talk a little bit about the United home game. How are we feeling?
Rhetorical question. It's easier than City. I don't know. It's very hard to gauge. 5-6 days out from Saturday night, right? So 5 days out from the game.
Yeah,
it's a massive game. It's under the lights. Can he get the team firing? He's got another week on the training ground. He's got to sort something out. Enzo will be back. Obviously, Enzo will start. The thing for this game that is quite interesting, what does he do about the 10 position? I don't really want Enzo back in the 10, but I think that's what he might do.
Well, I think, in terms of getting control of the game, I think we saw against City. I think if you play Palmer in the 10, you leave yourself, the midfield looks like pretty exposed.
Yeah, so I think he'll probably play Neto left wing again, though. So it'll be essentially an Esteban for Enzo, which I don't like long term, personally. But maybe just at the moment, shore it up a bit, like you said, and then in the summer, work on playing Cole in the 10. But I think it'll be very similar team. But Enzo will play 10, I think, and Palmer will play right. I think that's what happened. What do you think?
Are we going to go into this game favourites, do you think?
Yeah, small favourites in the bookies, yeah, I think.
Let's have a look.
Small.
Chelsea 5-4, yeah. United 9-5. So yeah, Chelsea decent favourites actually, to be honest.
So United, they haven't always been great away. They went to West Ham and they were terrible. Remember, I mean, it's not like I've been playing amazing football under Carrick all the time.
No.
They're very, very strong at home. So no, we can beat United. We can beat United, but it's actually very, very similar. I don't remember when it's not the same thing, but remember when we beat United at home last year when Reece James assisted for Cucurella?
Yeah,
it's similar-ish. I think the top 5 was looking a bit more secure then. But it's similar-ish vibes. Like, we have to start winning these clutch games. And look, it's like anything. Like, if you can win this game, you can build some momentum and you can keep it going. So
I'll just have a little bit of positivity before we head off here. So on the 13th of April last season, Chelsea played a fixture. Can you remember what that fixture was?
Man United at home.
No.
I don't know. Tell me.
Chelsea 2, Ipswich Town 2 was the fixture from the 13th of April 2025. And I think after that game, I think you wrote in the WhatsApp group, that's Champions League dead after that result. So just a little bit of positivity. Just a little bit, no buts. Just a little bit of positivity before we go to say that I think a lot of people wrote us off last season around this stage, saying that we're not playing well, we can't make Champions League now. But the last 6 games are the last 6 games, and Chelsea have got a good enough team to step up, start playing well, and it starts with United on Saturday. Let's get a big 3 points and finish strong and see what happens. I think if we finish strong, we'll make the Champions League. I think the teams around us,
especially now this news that 6th might be a thing. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Thanks for coming on.
No worries.
That's all we've got time for today. Regardless of the result, we will be back post United to give a pod and a breakdown of that game. For more updates on all things ESCR, you can follow us on X at Eat Sleep Chelsea or Instagram at Eat Sleep Chelsea Repeat. Give us a little like or a thumbs up, or whatever it is that helps the pod grow, and a review as well would be helpful. As always, we hope you're carefree wherever you may be.